And I'm live. Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to my channel. That was abrupt. Hello, everyone. So, hopefully, you are able to pick up the notification, and then I'll be starting in a bit once you're there. Okay, I will be talking about your favorite F word. Oh, surprisingly, I haven't typed anything pala. There you are. Okay, so our topic for tonight is your favorite F word, and our F word for tonight is all about forgiveness. Let's have a green Slido. There you go. Okay. Oopsies. Okay, and of course, I'd like to thank everyone who's been very supportive of this page since day one. I will never get tired of saying my thanks because I have received so much support since I started this page. I mean, since I started the live streams for I think I've been doing this for like more than a month now. And yeah, I'm just really grateful, and I will never get tired of saying my thanks because without you guys I will not be able to continue doing this because it takes a lot of work, to be quite honest about it. It takes a lot of work, it takes a lot of effort, it takes a lot of courage to be in front of the camera. So yeah, and again, I will be waiting for you guys to pick up the notification. I think. Okay, so I think I did it correctly, right? Okay. Ayun, kita ko na. Okay, so again, if you are watching right now, please post your highs and lows so that I will be seeing your name on my screen because unfortunately I cannot see anything except if you post a comment, then that's the only time that I can see your your name and your comment. Just post anything there so that I will know that you're there. Hello, sir. Good evening. Thank you so much for tuning in. Hi, hi. Thank you. Okay, so let me start tonight's session. Okay, let me start by introducing myself again, because because I always tend to forget. To those of you who have just recently watched my shows, let me introduce myself. I'm Irene. I'm a real estate broker in the Philippines. I'm also a motivational speaker and I'm also a writer. So I do a lot of things in between, but for the purpose of this channel, those are the top three things that I really love doing. So that's real estate, um, speaking, and writing. Thank you for that. So yeah, tonight's topic is all about forgiveness, and as you know, every Friday is all about your favorite F word. So anything which starts with the letter F, we are discussing it every single Friday. So tonight is all about forgiveness. So the main story about it is that earlier this morning I was actually wondering what am I gonna speak about. It's like because to be honest, I did not prepare anything for tonight. So but this morning when I because I usually start my morning with a prayer. So I've heard about forgiveness, and I think that's a perfect topic for tonight because we are going to be talking about an F word. And forgiveness is definitely something that we should all talk about, but nobody talks about it. We have all been wrong, that's true. And sometimes there are there are there are instances that it's so hard to forgive. But that's exactly why we are going to be talking about it tonight, because there are still people out there maybe who haven't forgiven those who have wronged them, or who haven't forgotten what happened in the past. So totoo ba na totoo ba yung forgive and forget? So let's find out. Join the conversation. If you can relate to this topic, please post your comments. I will really appreciate the conversation. Alam nyo, mahirap magsalita sa harap ng camera, di ba? Mahirap makipag-usap sa sarili. So it really feels good if you engage in a conversation so that I wouldn't feel so alone. But again, no pressure. Okay lang din naman kung nanonood lang kayo at ayaw ninyo mag-comment. That's also okay. But if you wanna share your piece, share your experiences or anything, that can relate to this conversation, you are so welcome to post your comments on the comment box below. So let me share my screen. I prepared something for tonight again. Okay, we'll start. Okay, 'di ba may pa-PowerPoint pa ako talaga. Okay. So again, welcome to your favorite F word, and our F word for tonight is forgiveness. How do we really forgive? Okay. So of course I've also committed mistakes, and I've also been wronged. Wala naman yatang taong hindi nag-commit ng mistake at saka hindi siya nagawa ng mali ng ibang tao. I think it's a normal thing. It's a normal part of life. It's every now and then we will really be experiencing this and that. So it's really so much about how do we really respond to the circumstances that we are in. Hello, sir. Good evening po. Ayan. Thank you for your letter F. Ayan, si Sir Filosofo. Thank you for your contribution sa F word natin tonight. Okay, so again, let's start. As you know, I always define what the topic is all about. So, i-define muna natin what is forgiveness. So, forgiveness is an active process in which you make a conscious decision to let go of negative feelings, whether the person deserves it or not. Okay, so that's from Dr. Karen Swartz from the John Hopkins Hospital. So, kung makikita ninyo sa mga slides ko, meron po tayong mga references dyan just in case you wanna fact check. Pwede rin kayong mag-research on your own about the definition of forgiveness. But for tonight, we are going to be taking the definition of Dr. Karen Swartz. Sabi niya dito, forgiveness is an active process. Okay, active process. Ibig sabihin, kasi di ba ang kabaliktaran ng passive is ng active is passive. Passive is just, hinahayaan mo lang kung anong mangyayari. But when we say active, meron kang conscious effort, right? Kaya nakalagay dito, you have a conscious decision to let go of negative feelings. So forgiveness is something forgiveness is a process. Hindi siya feeling, hindi siya emotion, but it's a process that a person goes through whenever meron siyang pinagdadaanan na meron siyang pinagdadaanan na nakasakit sa kanya. Okay? So it's an active process. Merong conscious effort, conscious decision about it. Okay? So kaya hindi siya kusang nangyayari yung forgiveness. Okay? Kaya i-explain lang natin, ulitin natin, hindi siya kusang nangyayari. Kailangan mong magkaroon talaga ng desisyon na gagawin mo siya. Para siyang pagligo. Hindi ka naman kusang mababasa ng tubig kung kung hihiga ka lang dyan at nag-decide ka na gusto mong maligo pero wala kang ginawa. So, hindi siya active, di ba? So, forgiveness is just like that. Ikaw yung mag-e-effort para mangyaring pagle-let go. Okay? Next is, so unahin muna natin yung benefits ng forgiveness because there are a lot of people who think that forgiveness feels like a burden. Pero actually, merong benefits ang forgiveness. Simulan natin sa it reduces our stress. Of course, when somebody wrongs us, sometimes, or when somebody hurts us, ito na naman yung burping ko, sorry na, narinig yata sa microphone. Okay, so it reduces our stress. Kasi, di ba, kapag may someone who did us something wrong, it elevates or it escalates our stress. Pero kapag marunong ka magpatawad, it reduces stress. Siyempre, kasi hindi mo na masyadong iisipin yung ginawa sa'yo, di ba? Or hindi mo na masyadong dadamdamin yung ginawa sa'yo. Okay, next, it reduces our anxiety. And anxiety, as you know, is constant worrying about something or sometimes it's constant worrying about nothing, yung anxiety. And when we forgive, we let go of that. Nababawasan yung anxiety natin. It improves our mental health, obviously, because we don't really need to think about the things that happened with us. And it also liberates us from the chain of hatred and bitterness. Ito yung pinakamasarap na pakiramdam pag nag-forgive ka. You're liberating yourself from the chain of bitterness. And mahirap maging bitter. Alam niyo ba? Sobrang mahirap maging bitter. I know because I've lived there. I've done that. I've been there, I've done that. Ang hirap maging bitter. Of course, Kaya ko 'to nasasabi ngayon kasi napagdaanan ko na siya. I personally went through several processes of forgiveness. Ang dami-daming nangyari. So parang forgiveness is something that I really had to personally understand how we can really do things. How can we really forgive people? Okay, so one of the best feelings about forgiving is really it liberates us kasi yung bitterness kasi parang kadena yan eh. Parang yeah, it's a chain. It's a kadena to our hands na parang kapag hindi ka marunong mag-forgive, parang ikaw rin yung kumakadena sa sarili mo because ikaw yung nabubuhay sa bitterness. And also, it prepares us to receive blessings and grace because nga you have decided to let go of negative emotions or negative feelings or bitterness or hatred, now you start to realize na marami ka palang blessings na natatanggap. And you will only realize that if you start to let go and if you start to forgive people when they have wronged you. Okay, let's just flash this on the screen. When it seems you can forgive, remember how much you've been forgiven, even as Christ forgive you. So you also must do. Lalim ni sir. Thank you, thank you. All right. It gives you peace of mind. Thank you for that. Sir Sir Rudy, good evening po. Thank you for tuning in. Okay. And there are also health benefits of forgiveness. Kung merong psychological benefits, meron din yung overall health benefits natin. It reduces risk of heart attack. Kasi alam niyo, syempre pag bitter ka, parang laging mataas yung BP mo. Syempre, ang nangyayari yan, kagaya niyan, it reduces blood pressure and heart attack. Syempre, kasi kapag stress ka, ang tendency is, syempre, mataas yung yung blood pressure mo, tapos may nararamdaman kang kung ano-anong sakit, kasi nga hindi ka makapag-forgive. And any negative emotion that we have, any negative emotion na dala-dala natin sa katawan natin, nagko-cause siya ng physical manifestation. It can be through pain. Minsan masakit yung katawan mo kahit kahit wala ka naman talagang ginawa pero parang ang sakit-sakit ng katawan mo. Because stress does that to our body. And when you haven't forgiven, kung hindi ka nakapagpatawad, mataas yung stress levels mo. Ito yung mga nagiging cause, 'di ba? Ay nagiging effect. Nagkakaroon ng may possibility magkaroon ng heart attack, tumaas yung blood pressure, or laging masakit yung katawan or whatever. And then it also improves cholesterol levels and sleep. Kapag marunong tayong mag-forgive, syempre again, nagno-normalize yung mga functions ng katawan natin. And then eventually we also have better sleep. And then it also helps improve our health in general. So yun yung mga benefits ng forgiveness. So kung sa tingin ninyo, kung ayaw ninyong makinig kasi parang sabi nyo, ay, nako, ano ba naman tong topic ngayon, forgiveness, okay na, kahit hindi ko patawarin yun, wala naman masyadong impact sa akin. Actually, merong health benefits yung forgiveness. Okay, kaya natin to din na-discuss para mas maintindihan natin ano nga ba ang mapapala natin kapag nagpatawad tayo. Actually, meron. Madami. So, ayan sila. So, just in case na na-miss out nyo yung naunang slide, pwede po ninyong balikan ulit sa replay of this video. Ano yun? Sorry po. Parang pareha yan mag-move on ka sa ex mo, ma'am, no? Pareho po siguro, yes. Okay, so why is it difficult to forgive? So pag-usapan po natin bakit nga ba mahirap magpatawad. Kasi sa totoo lang, forgiveness is a very difficult process. It's really difficult. Why? Because number one, you gave your trust and it has been broken. And you know what happens when trust is broken, right? It's so hard to put back. In fact, hindi na nga yata nababalik yung trust. Diba kapag may mga taong nasira yung trust natin sa kanila, hindi ang hirap ng ibalik. So, yun yung unang dahilan bakit ang hirap magpatawad. Ikalawa, we feel as if they will do it again if we forgive them. Okay? So, nahihirapan tayong magpatawad kasi feeling natin pag nagpatawad tayo, uulitin din naman nila yun ulit eh. So, bakit mo pa sila papatawarin? Parang ganon. And then, ikatlo, you feel that we do not deserve to be wronged. Okay, itong ikatlong dahilan, bakit nga ba mahirap magpatawad? Kasi feeling natin, hindi natin deserve na gawan tayo ng mali. Okay, tatanungin ko lang po tayong lahat dito na nakikinig, ganyan. Sino po ba, sino po ba ang tuwang-tuwa na ginagawan sila ng mali. Parang wala pa akong nakilalang taong gano'n. Like, if any normal human being, ayaw nila syempre na ginagawan sila ng mali. So, that's exactly why it's difficult to forgive because everybody feels that we do not deserve to be wronged. Isa yun sa mga core reasons why it's so hard to forgive. Ikaapat, we think that the one who wronged us will think that we are weak or soft if we forgive them. So feeling kasi natin yung forgiveness is a sign of it's a sign of defeat. Well, it's not. Forgiveness is not a sign of defeat. Forgiveness is actually a sign of courage. Kasi only people with strong hearts can forgive. Later on, I will be talking about that. Okay? And also, another thing is, we want to punish the person who wronged us by not forgiving them. Yun yung ibang mga dahilan. Kaya marami pang dahilan kung bakit ayaw nating magpatawad. Pero ito yung mga common reasons why we don't want to forgive. And in general, people resist forgiving people. In general, kasi syempre, ang normal human reaction kasi natin is to protect ourselves from getting hurt again. Yun yung normal human reaction natin. Syempre, poprotektahan natin yung sarili natin. And our brain will constantly remind us of what happened that makes it difficult for us to forgive the people who have wronged us. Kasi ifa-flashback yun ng ifa-flashback ng utak mo. So, kaya mas lalong mahirap magpatawad kasi palagi mo siyang naaalala. So, mas mahirap lalo magpatawad. Okay? So, again, those are the reasons why it's difficult to forgive. There are so many other reasons why it's difficult to forgive. Basta, ito yung mga common. Ayan. So, kayo po, bakit po ba mahirap magpatawad? Share your thoughts on the comment box below. Okay. Pride. Kailangan naman yung pride. Okay. Acceptance is the key. Correct. Okay. So, again, if you can relate to this conversation, please do not hesitate to post your comments on the comment section so that I will be able to see you. That's number one. And number two, so that we will also be able to know your thoughts about forgiveness. And again, our topic for tonight is all about forgiveness. Okay. So, isa sa mga laging sinasabi natin, ano ba, forgive and forget ka na, yan yung laging sinasabi sa atin. So, is it really possible to forgive and forget? So, let's have let's have a very quick discussion about that. So, according to Malcolm MacLeod of University of Stirling, the ability to forget painful memories may provide an effective coping strategy which allows people to move on and not get stuck in the past. Okay. So, yung utak kasi natin, yung brain kasi natin, maraming parts yan. And I'm not gonna be discussing this in a scientific perspective, but just based on my own understanding. Ang brain kasi natin, maraming parts yan, di ba? Bawat part ng brain natin, meron siyang function. And isa sa mga function ng brains natin is memory. Okay? So, ang tanong natin is, can we forgive and forget? Okay? So, meron tayong part ng brain natin na in charge siya sa memory. So, is it possible to forgive and forget using that particular part of the brain? The answer is actually yes and no. Yes, because it takes a conscious effort to do that. No, kung ayaw mong gawin. So, yes and no. So, to forgive and forget, possible siya yes, kung gugustuhin mo. Because, again, it's a part of the brain na meron talaga tayong mga memories na pwede nating sadyain kalimutan. But again, mahabang usapin pa to, mahabang research actually yung tungkol sa forgive and forget, kung kaya ba talaga na parang once you forgive, parang automatic ba kaya mo siyang i-forget. But there's a lot of processes involved in that brain function. So, but the main thing here that we have to remember is we can forgive and forget if we decide to forgive and forget. Unfortunately, for most people, we only forgive. Mahirap kasi talaga mag-forget. Okay? Buti pa nga yung mga bagay, mabilis nating makalimutan. Pero madalas, yung utak natin, naaalala talaga niya yung mga hindi natin masyadong magandang experiences. Because the brain's main function is to protect us from harm. Okay? So kapag meron siyang negative na meron siyang mga negative memories, naaalala natin yun kasi nire-remind tayo na ito yung nangyari sa'yo before, wag mo nang uulitin. Parang ganon. So, but is it possible? The answer is really up to you. If you want to forgive and forget, it will take a conscious effort from you. Okay? Um, Mataas masyado yung ego natin, kaya minsan mahirap magpatawad kapag natamaan ego. That's true. Stress management can help you learn on how to forgive. That's also true. Thank you. Okay. So how do we really forgive? Simulan natin sa pinakaunang step. Okay? Ang pinakaunang step talaga dyan is to really recognize and understand your own feelings towards the situation. Recognize and understand. Alamin mo muna at intindihin mo kung ano yung nararamdaman mo. And kung hindi mo maintindihan agad-agad, okay lang din. Give yourself time to, recognize and understand. Kasi when we are hurt, it's so hard to recognize. It's so hard to understand. We recognize our feelings, but it's so hard to understand. Sometimes, ang ginagawa ko kapag hindi ko naiintindihan yung nararamdaman ko, I ask people so that I can have other people's perspective about it, so that I will also have a logical perspective. Because when we are in that particular situation, we tend to be emotional. And when we are emotional, it's so hard to be logical. So the easiest way to be logical or to have a logical perspective is to talk to someone who who's maybe very close to you and who understands you and who can explain things to you and who has also been there doon sa scenario na pinagdadaanan mo, so that pwede kanyang i-walk through, that person can explain to you what's going on. Okay? So next, understand that each person has his or her own side of the story. Okay. Minsan kasi there are times that we feel that we have been wronged, and yet we also do not understand. We do not see the other person's side of the story. And that's very common. Kasi gano'n naman talaga yung mga tao. Madalas ang nakikita lang natin yung sa side natin. Pero it takes a lot of conscious effort to understand also the other person's perspective. So, kung medyo kumalma ka na, medyo naintindihan mo na yung pinagdadaanan mo, alamin mo din yung other side ng story. And sabi nga nila, there are 3 sides of a story. Di ba sabi lang sa atin, when we were growing up, there are 2 sides of the story. My story and his or her story. Pero actually, there are 3 sides of a story. The one that I know, the one that the other person knows, and the one that everybody knows. So, 3 sides of a story. Pero sa totoo lang, maraming story talaga kasi. It's really up to you how you will understand or how you will visit those sides of the story. And it's easier to understand people if you also know their side of the story. So I will not say that it's easy because as I've mentioned, I'm doing this session from the perspective of someone who's been there, who's been there, who's done that. Okay? Nakasakit at nasaktan. Okay? Hindi tayo perfect. Malamang at one point in time, we have also hurt people, and at one point in time, we have also been hurt. Normal yun kasi mga tao tayo, we can never be perfect. So from my based on my own experiences, ang pinakamahirap talaga gawin is maintindihan yung other side of the story. Kasi minsan nakafocus lang tayo sa sarili nating kwento. Hindi natin tinitingnan yung side ng story ng kabila. 'Di ba? So again, understand that each person has his or her own side of the story. Baka mamaya nasaktan din siya, kaya nasaktan ka din niya, parang ganon. But again, we are talking about emotional pain here, not physical abuse. That's a totally different story. Okay? So next, let go of all your expectations about forgiveness and the other person. Now, we are setting so many expectations about forgiveness. Kasi parang ganito yun eh. Sige, papatawarin kita, pero dapat ganito. Sige, papatawarin kita, pero dapat magbago ka na. Sige, papatawarin kita, pero huwag ka nang lalapit sa akin. Or, sige, papatawarin kita, pero makikipaghiwalay na ako. Things like that. But you have to let go of the expectations, or pinatawad mo, tapos ina-expect mo na magbabago na para sa'yo. I mean, when you forgive, you just forgive. walang expectations na kasama. Because eventually, baka yung expectations na sinet mo, yun din yung makasakit sa'yo. Okay? So when you forgive, do not expect anything in return. Do not even expect the other person to say sorry. And again, I'm saying this from my based on my own experiences. You know, it's really difficult not to expect people to say sorry when they've wronged you. Pero eventually, with constant with constant self-talk, kailangan ko talagang i-let go yung expectation ko na yung mga tao kapag nasaktan nila ako, magso-sorry sila sa akin. Okay? Kasi one good thing about my family is that I was raised by a very forgiving mom. Like my mom taught me a lot about forgiveness. Kahit na nakita ko sobrang daming injustices na experience ng mom ko when I was a kid, pero I never saw her harbor ill feelings. Lagi siyang nagfo-forgive ganyan. And I always ask her, bakit ka ganyan? Ang hirap maintindihan yung mga taong sobrang forgiving. Sabi niya, kasi there's no other way to let go of pain but to forgive people. And I've seen that from her. And yun yung kinalakihan kong nature. So sa amin sobrang madali humingi ng sorry kapag ikaw yung nakasakit. Sabi nga ng lolo ko, pag tama ka, panindigan mo. Pag nagkamali ka, yumuko ka. And I've said this several times in previous episodes that I did na ganun yung kinalakihan kong family. So I'm really happy that now I finally understood what my lolo was telling us when we were kids na pag tama ka, panindigan mo even if you stand alone. But if you are wrong, wag kang magdadalawang isip na yumuko. Wag kang, do not hesitate to bow your head and say sorry. Because, again, kahit na mahirap mag-sorry, kailangan mag-sorry ka kasi dapat i-recognize mo may mali ka. However, hindi lahat ng tao ganon. So, that's why, in this step, you really have to let go of the expectation that people will say sorry to you just because you feel that they've wronged you. Okay? Next is decide that you will forgive. Okay, it's again, remember going back to the definition of forgiveness, it's an active process. It takes a conscious effort or a conscious decision that you will do it. So when we are talking about forgiveness, it's really a decision. So you have to decide that you will forgive. And this is not based on the other person, but based on your own judgment. Okay, hindi tayo magpapatawad dahil doon sa taong 'yon. Mag-decide kang magpapatawad ka kasi magpapatawad ka. Do you get what do you get what I'm saying? Okay, 'di ba? Magpapatawad ka kasi gusto mong magpatawad because it's for your benefit and not for anything else. Okay, so decide that you will forgive. And again, it's easier said than done, lalo na kung medyo malaki yung atraso sa inyo. Pero remember the benefits of forgiveness, which I have discussed earlier on. Okay, another thing that I also would like to share with you as part of how do we really forgive is to give yourself time to recover yourself from the pain that the other person has caused you. Okay, I've felt so many times na I've been wrong so many times. Naubos yung train of thoughts ko. Okay. Sorry na, Friday na kasi pagod na yung brain ko. Okay. So, I've been wrong for so many times and I've also committed mistakes. Sabi ko naman yan sa inyo, di ba? Walang perfect na tao. Pero nung ako yung nasaktan, hindi ko pinwersa yung sarili ko na kailangan ko agad-agad maka-forgive at maka-move on at makapag-let go. Okay? Kasi hindi siya madali. Sobrang hindi siya madali. At dahil sobrang mahirap siya gawin, it really takes time. And sabi nila, di ba, time heals all wounds. Sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it takes longer amount of time maybe, but sometimes time doesn't heal all wounds. Why? Because remember what we said earlier, forgiveness is an active process. It takes a conscious effort to do that. So kahit na mahabang period of time na marami pa rin taong hindi nakapagpatawad, kasi nga hindi sila nag-decide na magpapatawad sila. And it's hard. And I know, and I know because as I've said, I've been there, I've done that, na bitter ako towards this one person or towards people. Mahirap, mahirap. Pero once na na-realize mo na ikaw lang din naman palang nahihirapan, yung other people na nakasakit sa'yo, ano ba tawag doon? Um, Nagpa-party sila, tuwang-tuwa na sila, tas ikaw bitter ka pa rin, mare-realize mo na, wait lang, bakit ako bitter tapos sila nagpa-party na masaya na sila sa buhay nila tas ako bitter pa rin. So you will realize that eventually ikaw na lang pala yung nandoon sa scenario na yun or sa situation na yun na sobrang bitter ka. Tapos yung ibang tao wala nang pakialam. Hindi nga nila alam na galit ka pa sa kanila, 'di ba? So again, give yourself time to recover yourself from the pain. Okay? Because it's not easy. But also, do not dwell on it. That's why we're having these conversations because I'm encouraging you to let go of the pain. Okay, I'll share this slide with you. Oh, hi Lara. Ano ibig sabihin ng dabda? Ano ibig sabihin ng dabda? Pa-explain naman, please. Thank you. Okay. Another thing is, ba't parang may nawala akong slide? Okay, sige. Another thing is, forgive yourself. Okay? Of course, I cannot share my personal journey kasi there are some okay, there's another side of the story, of course. So, yung side ko na lang ng story ko, yung sasabihin ko. When I was going through a very rough time, okay, during a certain scenario in my life that has hurt me so much, it was one of the most heartbreaking moments in my life. One day, nagising na lang ako na paulit-ulit kong sinisisi yung sarili ko, what could I have done better? Ano ba dapat yung ginawa ko para hindi nangyari sa amin to? Something like that. And then eventually, doon ko na-realize na may galit pala ako sa sarili ko. And then I had to process it all over again. And processing the hurt, processing that the blame inside yourself, yung pala yung mahirap. Yun din pala yung dahilan bakit hindi tayo maka-move on minsan. May galit pala tayo. And yung galit na yun, hindi directed sa ibang tao, directed pala sa atin. So we really have to forgive ourselves first pala. If we want to forgive other people, we start by forgiving ourselves. Hindi ka pala pwede magpatawad ng ibang tao kung hindi mo muna napatawad yung sarili mo. That's why everything talaga begins with yourself. If you want respect from other people, respect yourself first. If you want love from other people, love yourself first. If you want forgiveness for other people or from other people, you have to forgive yourself first. Yun pala yun. Yun pala yung sekreto. Kaya pala nung time na yun, hindi ako makapagpatawad kasi ako pala mismo, hindi ko rin napatawad yung sarili ko because I was also blaming myself for what happened. Okay? So, yung pala yung mahirap. Kapag ka ikaw mismo, hindi mo napatawad yung sarili mo. And once I decided na, okay, it's about time to forgive myself, and then slowly, as in slowly talaga, slowly and eventually, I was able to forgive that someone. It was really hard, but I made it through because the first step pala is to really forgive yourself. Yeah, okay, Davda. Yeah. Okay, gets ko na. Akala ko ano to parang mga YOLO, ganyan. Okay, yung scientific pala to. Okay. So, next, understand that it is okay to feel pain, but choose not to suffer. Okay? Alam niyo ba na may pagkakaiba yung pain tsaka yung suffering? 'Di ba? Okay, pain kasi senses 'yun eh. Senses. So kung pinalo yung kamay mo, may pain through touch. 'Di ba? Kung pinalo yung kung masakit yung mata mo, 'di ba? Sa sense of sight 'yun na hindi ka makakita basta-basta. So 'yun yung pain. It's on the senses. Pero yung suffering, it's actually a choice. So let me share this slide with you. Pain is inevitable. Every person feels pain because it's our body telling us that something's wrong. Okay? So kung halimbawa, 'di ba pag nasagi ka, may masakit. Halimbawa nasagi ka dito, may masakit kasi your mind telling you na, oh, may masakit, ibig sabihin, wag mo nang ulitin kasi pag bumangga ka ulit, masasaktan ka ulit, something like that. But suffering is optional. Why? Because suffering is actually a choice. Okay? Nasa sa inyo, nasa sa atin, nasa sa ating lahat kung gugustuhin nating dalhin natin yung suffering na yon. Kasi yung pain, again, di ba kapag may masakit sa atin, bili kang gamot, inumin mo yung gamot, or kapag nasugatan ka, gagamutin mo para maghilom siya. Pero suffering is optional. I read somewhere, I don't know which culture is this, na parang yung pag-mourn is parang 1 week lang. After nyan, dapat unti-unti ka na mag-move on. Kasi daw, sabi doon is suffering is optional. Nasa sa atin yun kung papahirapan natin yung sarili natin. Because again, it's our choice if we want to do that to ourselves. So, understand that it is okay to feel pain, but choose not to suffer. Kung nasaktan ka, normal lang naman yan eh, nasasaktan tayo kasi kung nakarinig tayo ng hindi magagandang salita, or may ginawa sa ating hindi masyadong maganda, or hindi talaga maganda at all, it's normal to feel pain. It's okay to feel pain, but do not dwell on it. Do not choose to be suffering because of that pain. Okay? So, of course, the last thing that I would like to share with you is to choose to forgive because you have to choose you. When we forgive, it's really not so much for the other person. Okay? It's really not so much for the other person. When we forgive, we are actually choosing ourselves when we forgive. Kasi 'di ba, again, ang benefit ng forgiveness hindi naman para doon sa other person. Ang benefit ng forgiveness is really for you. So when you choose to forgive, you are not doing anybody else a favor but yourself. Okay? So kung ngayon meron kang mga nararamdaman na hindi masyadong maganda, meron kang bitterness or meron kang galit or whatever towards other people, when you come to think of it, ikaw lang naman 'yan eh. Kasi baka mamaya yung other person naka-move on na siya and kumbaga nakapag-repent na siya, ganyan, or naramdaman niya na may mali siya, hindi man siya nag-sorry sa'yo. Pero again, it's really up to you. Kasi at the end of the day, ikaw ang magbe-benefit or ikaw ang magsa-suffer kapag hindi ka nagpatawad. This is something that I will share with you. Bakit ayaw na ba't nawala? Okay, this is what I was supposed to say. Okay, dahil wala siya doon sa slide, ba't nawala? Ba't nawala siya? Wait lang ha. Kasi parang, nag-crash kasi kanina yung ano ko. Nag-crash kasi kanina yung laptop ko. So, I mean yung internet ko. So, may nawalang deck. I mean, nawala sa deck ko. So, anyway, let me just share with you this story. Again, based on my own personal experience. I read somewhere that you will never realize how strong your heart is until you have to learn to forgive someone who did not even apologize. Okay? Nung nabasa ko yun, dun ko na-realize na, okay. So it's really up to me if I will be forgiving someone. And it's really the measure of a strong heart. Forgiveness is never a sign of weakness because only strong people forgive. Only strong people can withstand pain from people hurting you. Talagang nasa sayo yon. It's really up to you. Wait lang, it's really a very nice, it's really, nawala siya. I-share ko sa inyo. Anyway, ipopost ko na lang sa page ko just in case hindi ko siya mahanap ngayon. Okay. And also, another thing that I realized is, kailangan ko magpatawad. Okay? Kailangan ko magpatawad. Hindi dahil strong ako or hindi dahil kung ano pa man, na-realize ko na kailangan ko magpatawad kasi at one point in time, I've also hurt people and I may not have said sorry to them. Kasi, syempre, hindi ko naman sinasadya. Paano kung yung taong nakasakit sa'yo, hindi rin naman niya sinasadya, pero hindi rin niya kayang mag-sorry kasi hindi niya alam na nakasakit siya. Yung mga ganon. Sometimes we have to forgive because we realize that people are, people commit mistakes. And people commit mistakes all the time. Like some people are not even aware that they're committing mistakes. And it's not even an excuse. Sometimes, parang unmindful lang tayo na nagkakamali tayo. So, if that's where you're coming from, that you are forgiving people because you have also committed mistakes, it's also easier to forgive. Yun yung personal journey ko, no. I was able to forgive people in my life because I realized that, hey, I'm not perfect. I may have also hurt people, 'di ba? And um yung iba siya, for example, may na-offend ako or whatever, it's easy for me to say sorry. Pero what if nakasakit ako tapos hindi naman nila ako sinabihan na nasaktan ko sila? So at one point in time, nakakasakit naman din talaga tayo. So let's be kind to ourselves and let's also be kind to other people. So kung meron man tayong nasaktan, let's say sorry, let's apologize. And always we are not naman we do not deliberately hurt people. Okay? Yun yung ire-remind ko po sa inyo. Hindi po parang walang normal na taong intensyon na manakit ng tao. Seryoso, walang taong gano'n. Walang mga tao na ang intensyon nila ay manakit ng tao. Parang wala akong kilalang gano'n. I mean yung normal na nasa normal na estado ng pag-iisip, Walang normal na estado ng pag-iisip na mananakit ng tao deliberately or by intention. Walang gano'n. So kung nasaktan man po tayo, let's understand that maybe they do not mean it, or maybe they are not aware that they hurt us. So listen to the other person's side of the story. And again, do yourself a favor by forgiving even before they say sorry. It's not a sign of strength. It's not a sign of weakness. It's actually a sign of strength to forgive someone even if they do not say sorry. Yon. Better to say. Yes, suffering is a choice. Tama. Salamat sa magandang topic. Thank you, sir. Better to say sorry, not sorry. Yes, yes, correct. And also, another thing, kung tayo naman yung nakasakit, ano nga ba yung dapat nating gawin? Bukod sa mag-sorry tayo, baguhin din natin, syempre, kung ano yung sa tingin natin ay nakasakit doon sa taong yun, baguhin natin yun. Because again, we are all, um, we are all a work in progress. And of course, the last reason why I personally forgive other people, even if they have also wronged me, nasabi kanina ni Sir Joseph, babalikan ko ulit yung sinabi ni Sir Joseph. Ito talaga yun. Okay. Yan. When it seems that you cannot forgive, remember how much you've been forgiven. Even as Christ forgave you, so you must also do. Dun ko na-realize na, di ba kasi, although I know maybe we do not share the same faith or we do not have the same religion, something good that I've read, no, I'll share this with you. Ang sabi doon is, bago ka magdasal, alisin mo muna lahat ng galit mo sa puso mo bago mo iangat yung prayer mo. Ganon. So clear yourself of bitterness before you pray, because that's how we really talk to God, or that's how we talk to our divine being. We should have the purest of hearts. Okay, para clear conscience tayo habang nagdadasal tayo. And again, it's really heartwarming. It really feels good to forgive. Kahit na mahirap, seryoso. Seryoso, walang halong biro, napakahirap magpatawad. Lalo na kung medyo major yung yung pain na pinagdaanan mo dahil sa taong yon. Pero you know what? It's very rewarding, not because of the other person, but because you have liberated yourself from the chain of bitterness. At walang makapagsasabi sa inyo na masarap mabuhay sa bitterness. Masarap mabuhay na walang bitterness na dinadala. Any unnecessary baggage must be left behind. Kasama po doon yung bitterness, hatred, mga negative emotions. Kailangan hindi natin yan dinadala sa buhay natin kasi yan din ang magpapahirap sa atin, yung mga negativities na yan. So, yun. Hopefully, I was able to share some insights that you can think about bago kayo matulog ngayong gabi, kung ano man po yung pinagdadaanan ninyong bitterness or hatred towards other people. Again, give yourself time. Hindi ko sinasabi sa inyo na agad-agad mararamdaman niyo yun. Walang guarantee kung kailan mawawala yun. Pero pray for a good, ano ba tawag doon? A strong heart. Pray for a strong heart and a clear mind. And eventually, makukuha nyo po yung forgiveness na yan kasi magmumula din po yan sa inyo. It's really good. It feels good to let go of bitterness. And you take that from me because I've also done that. Mahirap mabuhay ng bitter ka. Eh siguro, may mga times na matagal kong dinala yung mga bitterness. And then eventually, nung nag-decide ako na alisin siya sa katawan ko, dun ko na-realize na, sarap pala mabuhay na masaya. Okay? So, kaya nagagawa ko itong mga bagay na ganito kasi na ano ko na siya, na let go ko na yung mga bitterness ko. Siyempre, paminsan-minsan nagagalit pa rin naman ako. Pero, again, it takes a constant effort. It takes a constant effort to let go of these things. So, be patient with yourself as well. Huwag nyo namang pressurein yung sarili nyo. Hindi porke narinig nyo to or nabasa nyo dun sa mga slides ko na possible siya, ipa-pressure nyo yung sarili nyo. Give yourself time. Okay? And then eventually, you will be healed. Pray with pray to God, pray to your divine being, pray to the Creator na mabigyan kayo ng courage to forgive people who have wronged you. Yes, masarap sa pakiramdam yung nagpapakumbaba. Mahirap, yes, may process naman. Better late to forgive than never. That's true. Pray for a sign kapag ready to forgive na. Yes, that's also true. So if you're waiting for a sign that kung papatawarin ba ninyo yung taong yon, eto na yon. Eto na yon. This is the sign that you've been waiting for. Forgive para po sa inyo, para sa kapakanan din ninyo. Kasi masakit yan sa dibdib. Okay, so I'll share with you something that I haven't included pala kasi nga nag-crash yung deck ko kanina. Okay. So ayun pala. It's from Colossians chapter 3 verse 13. Bear with each other and forgive one another. If any of you has a grievance against someone, forgive as the Lord forgave you. So kung nawawala na po kayo ng dahilan kung bakit po kailangan ninyong magpatawad, remember that someone died on the cross for you. Just so our sins will be forgiven. So forgive. If you're running out of reasons, just look at the cross. And thank you so much, everyone, for joining me tonight in this conversation about your favorite F word, which is all about forgiveness. And advertise ko lang, tomorrow we will be having the continuation of fire safety measures in buildings. So same time po ulit tayo, 8 p.m. And same guest pa rin po, continuation po ng episode last Saturday. So also support that. It's about public service. And that's it from me tonight. I hope you enjoy your Friday evening. Enjoy the rest of the evening and enjoy the rest of the weekend. Enjoy life. Do not live your life with bitterness because life is always beautiful and it's always as beautiful as how you want it to be. So live beautifully, let go of the pain, let go of the suffering because you deserve to be happy. If you're waiting for a sign, if you will be forgiving that someone that you are thinking about right now, well, this is it. Thank you so much, everyone. This is Irene, and I'll see you again tomorrow. Bye. Thank you. God bless you. Stay safe.